Cooking for Health, a community cooking class brought to you by First Choice Community Healthcare, Agricultura Cooperative Network, La Cosecha, and other valued community partners. Welcome to episode 3 of our Fruits and Veggies theme. Joining us today is Chef Rosa Zamora with the sauteed and glazed green beans.
Okay, we are going to be making some sauteed and glazed green beans today. This is a nice recipe for any spring vegetable. It'd be really good with asparagus as well. And you're just going to start, these green beans are washed, and you just have to cut the very ends off of them. So you can just line them up and then just cut the very ends off. And we have a pan with a little bit of oil on it going over medium heat right now. We want the pan to be really hot because we're going to kind of dry roast and scorch these green beans before building a glaze. And we are going to be using an orange glaze, so a nice blend of fruits and veggies on this one. So this is 1 pound of green beans. And if you notice any green beans with any like bad ugly spots, feel free to trim those too, but these ones are really nice, so I don't think we'll have to do that. Also, if you like your green beans smaller, you can cut them in half, but I like doing this dish with the nice whole long green beans. I think it looks really pretty this way. And I think our pan is hot, so we'll start there. Oh yeah, that's exactly what you want to hear. You want to hear them kind of sizzle when you drop them in. Like I said, and that's just a little tiny splash of oil. We didn't even really measure it, maybe a quarter teaspoon, half a teaspoon. And then we'll just keep breaking down the green beans while those ones start to cook. Anything that's like this that's really small usually doesn't taste very good, so I usually just take those ones out if they're shriveled up. If they still look nice and firm, even though they're small, you can add them in, but if they're shriveled, I just put them to the side. Same thing if you have any with soft spots, you always want to get rid of any produce with soft spots. See, this one's little, but it still looks firm, so we're going to add just that one in. There we go, and just a tiny sprinkle of salt. Once again, we don't have to really measure this. And this is just going to help draw the moisture out of the green beans so they kind of roast in their own juice. The salt is also going to help them stay really bright green as they cook so they don't turn gray. And then we're just going to kind of let those sit and get one crispy on one side. And while we wait for those to cook, we're going to build our sauce. So we are going to go with a half tablespoon of olive oil. You can use any oil you want. I like the olive oil because it does give it like a nice little fruity taste. And then we're going to do a teaspoon of mustard. That's just going to give it a nice savory acid to go with it. And then we're going to do the juice of 1 orange. Get sweetness and a little bit of sugar that'll help bring that glaze together. And fruits and fruit juices, whole fruits are a really good way to add sweetness into dishes without adding a lot of extra sugar. And you can see here as I juice this, some of the sections are kind of falling in, and that's fine. Those are going to cook down with the green beans. And then you're also going to get some fiber and not just the sugar and the juice from the oranges. You can see you can really get in here. Don't be afraid to let those segments fall in. And if they're kind of big like this, you can break them up with your hands. But they're going to add a lot to your sauce. And then we're just gonna add a little bit of fresh cracked pepper, about a ½ teaspoon to start. We can always add more at the end if we want to spice them. Check on these. You can see, I don't know if you can see that, some of them are going to get some nice little char spots. And that's exactly what we're looking for as we develop this. And then we will add a little more salt to the glaze. Just about a ¼ teaspoon. And then we're going to do a ½ teaspoon of garlic powder. And then just whisk this all together. You really want to make sure that the mustard is evenly distributed and that it's going to help bring your sauce together and emulsify it. And then you can also kind of beat up those orange segments. And that's ready to go. And these green beans look perfect too. They're starting to get some little charred spots. They're a little firm. I like my green beans really crunchy. If you like yours more on the soft side, what I would do now is pour like maybe a ¼ cup of water into them, put a lid on that and let them steam until that water dissipates. I like to keep them more crunchy, so I'm not gonna do that step. And what we're gonna do next is we're gonna pour the glaze on top. And you can see all that steam, so that's also gonna help cook the green beans, and that's why I don't like to do the steaming things. But you can see that this is starting to reduce down. The sugars in the orange juice are starting to kind of get sticky and coat these green beans. Okay, you can see that the glaze has thickened nicely and coating all the green beans. So these are pretty much done. Like I said though, if you like your green beans softer, you can keep cooking them. Just make sure you don't scorch the sauce. So if you're gonna cook them longer, I would suggest turning the heat down. And then we're just gonna finish those with about a ¼ cup of almonds. Just to add a little more protein. And also the almonds and oranges go super nice together. And that's that. You can serve that right away warm, or you can let it sit and let it kind of marinate and eat at room temperature. It's really good either way. There you go.
Join us next time for Nature Cereal by Kids Cooking for Health. Thank you for watching. Tune in for the next fun and healthy recipe from Cooking for Health.